So now I'm going to make a new function here, the jQuery Synix. The selector name, first of all, CSS coding. Now this is a CSS coding selector. Now go there. Now we just need to implement that. Basically what I just want to send to this text function, I just want to send the CSS tag to this text function, so the CSS tag, and save. Now I just applied the CSS tag with the CSS coding. So go to the browser and refresh the page. So now you can see that the result, the complete data, this is really simple, that this complete variable is now inside the CSS coding. And what is the CSS coding? The CSS coding is actually an element, an empty element after the result. So now you can see that the result, the background orange, the width 100 pixels, the height is 30 pixels, the border etc. If I just click on a blue and just select the black, so now you can see that the background is black now. If I just select the yellow, so now it's became yellow. In the same way, the blue, the red, the orange, and whatever you want to choose. So this is working perfectly. So go to the notepad back, and actually I just want to add some more features. Which kind of features I just want to add? I just want to add the height changer, the width changer, and I'll be adding the border radius as well. The border will be by default and the hard coded, but I'll be adding 3 more things: the width, the height, and the border radius changer. Border radius changer is only for, I just want to teach you that the CSS3 is also working in this way, and you can apply then whatever you want. For example, the background changer, we are working on a background changer, but the background shadow changer, the shadow sizing, the text sizing, the text shadow sizing, and etc. Whatever you want, you can go to the notepad, and here first of all I just need to make an element. But before that, what I'm gonna do, if I just go to the folder, so you can see this folder, the jQuery, and in the JS folder you can see the bootstrap file here. In the JS folder, the bootstrap file, if I just go back, and in a CSS you can see the bootstrap CSS file here. You already know how we can implement and apply the bootstrap in a project. We just copy the bootstrap.css file, the bootstrap.js file, and pasted these files in any appropriated folders, and now we just need to add them in this folder, in this file, in index.html. Why I'm doing that? Because I just want to use a complete form. I'm going to create a complete form. So now the bootstrap is a perfect one to manage the form, and then we won't be using the left and right. We will be using the columns, 6 columns one side and 6 columns one side instead of the left and right. So go to the notepad, and now here just duplicate that, and this one is the style.css from the CSS folder, and now this is the bootstrap.css, and this bootstrap file is in the CSS folder. You can see that here, this is a bootstrap. And if I just go back and go to the JS, so now you can see that inside the JS folder, the bootstrap.js file, you can see the type, the JavaScript file. So now here just duplicate that after the jQuery UI, duplicate that and just remove the jQuery UI.js and make it the bootstrap.js from the JS folder. Don't forget that the bootstrap.js file must be after the jQuery.js. You can't call the bootstrap.js first and the jQuery after. By the way, the bootstrap has been added. So if I just go to the browser, I will see some changes. Refresh the file. Now you can see that everything has been changed. The text has gone down, and but what I just need to do, I'm just going back to the notepad, and I'm just going to the style.css. Before going to the style.css, why not I just apply what I just want? First of all, this is the right and this is the left. So instead of the right and left, what I'm just doing, I'm just making this col md6, and that one as the col md6. Now this one is the col md6 and that one is the 6 as well. If I just go to the browser and refresh, so now they're on a balanced thing but needs some more elements. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the style.css, and now I'm deleting the left side. I just don't want the left side. I just don't want the right side as well, because I'm using the columns, but I'm making this as blocks. Okay, Now the block doesn't need the width because I'm just getting the width from the columns and the box sizing. If you're just applying the padding, but no issue because this is bootstrap, so box sizing is automatically applied. So delete that. The background color, no, I'm gonna apply the blocks on both of them. So background, how I can apply the background color? Remove that as well. Okay, so save and go to the index.html, and here I'm gonna apply the blocks class. I've applied that, the blocks, and here the blocks class again, blocks, and save. Now go to the browser and refresh. Now the blocks has been applied and looking perfect, but here I'm adding the style, and what I'm just typing here, the background color should be gray. Save and go to the browser and refresh. Now it's looking perfect, but you can see this extra space. So how we can rid of this space? Go to the notepad back, and here just press enter and just make a div, a new div. And I'm making this as a raw. Okay, this is really necessary in a bootstrap, that make a raw and put these columns, any kind of column, inside the raw, so the columns will be displayed in a more better mode. So paste and then this one. Now the column MD6 and another 6 is in the same raw. So go to the browser and refresh. So now looking, this is perfect. Now what more we need? We just need to remove this ELEM from the class because this is not the way of the bootstrap. But before that, we just need to save the label and the selection or the other things which we will be creating later on in another div. Name the class form group. Okay, now this is a very simple thing of the bootstrap. Just cut the label and paste inside that label and the select tag both inside the form group, which actually gives a beautiful view to the elements. Refresh. Now you can see that it became more perfect, but working in the same way still, updating this line. So now I just need to add some more things. I'm gonna add some sliders. I'm just gonna add the sliders of the jQuery UI. You know how to add that. I'm gonna teach you, by the way. Just press enter. The div I'm adding, but be inside the column, the first column of the column D6 of this raw. Okay, the first column. And this div I've created, I'm gonna add the class and the form group, the second form group, because I'm making a form here. That's why I just chose the bootstrap to do. And then the label first. So let's just put the content for the label with changer. Okay, now save and go down, and now the div class or the ID. The ID is more perfect, and I'm just typing here David changer, but I just use the underscore between the space instead of the space between these two words. Now go to the browser and refresh. Okay, I got the width changer, but it's not looking perfectly. Actually, it's not there. Where is the slider? The slider is not visible because I just didn't apply the jQuery coding. So I'm gonna go there. This one is a select coding. When anyone make any change on a select, after that I'm just making the width changer with using the same jQuery syntax, the most famous jQuery syntax, where I just need to use the selector first, the width underscore changer, and go there and type slider and save and go to the browser back and refresh. Now I got the slider. Okay, this is super perfect, but don't forget that we just need to add the jQuery UI and the jQuery UI.css and the jQuery UI.js for making this slider, otherwise it won't work. By the way, this slider is not working anything, it's visible, but if you just want to get the result of the slider, we just need to use it as an object. So go inside. First of all, the range, I just need to declare the range. The range should be minimum min, and press enter. The value the value of the slider. This is a width changer, so by default value for the width is 100 pixels. You can see that this is the by default and hard-coded value 100 pixels. Add a comma. The minimum, how much you want as minimum? I just want the 50 pixels and minimum as minimum, not more than, not less than. The max, now the maximum 200. Okay, don't need to put the pixels because these are the integers and the px is actually the string values, so just leave this as it is. The minimum and maximum looking perfect, both of them. But now I'm just leaving this width changer. I'm going there and updating the value for the width is with hard codingly css width equal to 100 pixels. Okay, now it's the css width and it becoming the 100 pixels, so remove this 100 pixels and concatenation is required css width. Now this css width is updating from this one, and here I'm going to modify by using the slide function. But for now, just refresh the page so you can see that the css width is 100 pixels is still. That means this variable is working perfectly. Now go there and add a comma, press enter. The slide function, okay, means for getting the real-time value or doing something real-time. I'm gonna add two parameters, the event and the UI, and going inside the function and just adding the content. What I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna update this css width, the css width variable, css width. The value for the css width is ui.value, means the value of the UI. And what is a UI? You know, this thing is a UI, the user interface. This can be 200, this can be 50, this can be 35, whatever, as much as the minimum value you gave. So now, okay, I just assigned the UI value, but you know that it should be sent in a pixels because here you know that the value is in a pixel. So the concatenation of the pixels, the px, perfect. Save and go to the browser. Now you will be watching, just saying that, and it should be updated. That means something wrong. And what is the thing I just didn't do here? That's why this point is not working, this UI is not working. Where is the function, the css function? Whenever you just apply any effect or anything, you have to call the function again. For example, here we are just updating the values of the css width, but is this new variable saving in this function? Not yet. Press enter and type the css func, means I'm calling this function again. So go to the browser and refresh the page now and update the value, and you can see the width is updating. That means it's working perfectly. Just notice this one. This is the width 154 px, the 200 px, the 50 px, the minimum and the maximum. Okay, and refresh that. The by default is 100 px as I just gave there and gave there. For example, I just made that as 150. So what will happen? This one is 100 px, this one is 150 px. So go to the browser and refresh the page. It's the 100 px, but it's only 150 px. So what is the result? If I just move a very little, you can see that it became the 151 px instead of the 101. Just why? By default value and the by default variable is just this css width. I'm not modifying, but when I'm just doing anything, so it's suddenly getting the value of this. That's why this is not a perfect way. The value of this and the value of this css width should be in a matching. So now I'm just gonna put the 100 here. Now this is actually created. Refresh that and you can see that it's working perfectly. Okay, you can update whatever you want, the yellow, the orange, or whatever you want. Now I just need to apply the height changer in the border radius. So I'll do that in the next class, and I'll just do one more thing. I'll just make these variables in an array. So guys, in the next class we'll meet again.